tere! Võtke mikrofon maha, palun. Hallo! Me ei alusta veel. Okei. Nüüd on kõik kuulda, jah? Nüüd on...
Teistel läks just põnevaks praegu.
Ja. Aga me ei taha alustada, me tahaks rääkida juttu lihtsalt. So now we begin. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this conference. Over the next 2 days, we are going to hear about the state and the future of the Baltic domain industry and the market, and the future, and the present and the future, maybe the past, we don't know. Of course, we are going to discuss policy, security, and no conference, no tech conference these days can be held without discussing AI, or at least having one presentation about AI, and that's also coming up lots of presentations, lots of panel discussions, and everything that a conference should be, although we are here in the small, very cozy, it's almost like a living room, so we are like a family together. My name is Henrik Roonemaa. I will be your host for the next 2 days, and also hosting some of the panels. And you know, let's try and get through this and leave smarter than we came. So yeah, this is going to be the conference. I remind you that tonight at 7 p.m. in the Teacher's House, or Õpetajate Maja as we know it, in the middle of the Old Town, there is a reception. You're all welcome there. If people who are not from Estonia don't have an idea where it is, find an Estonian, you know, hook up with an Estonian, and you know, they will take you there, or check Google Maps. But yeah, it's the Teacher's House. So this is the organizational notes. We can have questions about the presentations, about the panels from the audience. There are going to be QR code links, so I hope you will all participate very actively. We can get all the answers we want, or at least we can put questions in front of the people who are in the panels and maybe should be able to answer them. So let's treat this as a sort of family get-together in a nice, cozy environment, and let's discuss what we need to discuss. But now it's my pleasure to give the stage for opening words to the Estonian Minister of Justice and Digital Affairs, Liisa Pakosta.
Good afternoon, everybody, dear Estonian and Baltic colleagues. So let me start with a personal story. I started as a head of Tallinn Tourism Office in 2005. And actually, the office was working with everything on paper. And I thought it was a little bit outdated. And the best idea was to make a homepage. For a tourism office, the homepage name could be something like tallinn.ee. The name was taken. I met the head of Tallinn Art Academy, who said, yeah, Helsinki has the same problem because the Helsinki Library took the name, and now the city has the name Hel.fi. But in Estonia, the name was taken by a private person. I was younger then, looked a little bit better, I have to say, and I started the negotiations with a gentleman who owned the name tallinn.ee. There was not much practice of buying or selling homepages these times. Somehow I succeeded to buy the name tallinn.ee. The cost was something around 60 crowns, which is approximately 4 euros, I think. So this was a deal. Now tallinn.ee is the Tallinn City homepage. And quite soon afterwards, having learned this lesson, I also registered pakosta.ee, which I held up to nowadays. But this was just a personal side why I feel very strongly about the topic and why I feel very strongly about the fair rules and innovation and everything around domain issues. As you, I guess, know, Estonia is a strong e-governance country. We have the Ministry of Justice and Digital Affairs from 1st of January this year. And this is basically because we want to go on with the innovation, especially during the AI era, but we want it to be on fair basis. We want to be on a good legal grounds. So this also includes everything around domains. I'm very proud to say that Estonian how would I say, domain business is organized, I would say, very well. So there are 3 aspects I would like to underline. So first, there is a strong identity verification. Nobody else than me or anybody having the same family name could ever claim the homepage name pakosta.ee. That is extremely important. The trust that we build with this good verification system is essential to all digital services in Estonia. The second thing is market transparency. So Estonia was the first domain registry in the world to introduce an auction platform for expiring domains. So in this way, the very transparent and fair system was created. We are very proud of this system, and of course a little bit proud of that it was the first time in the world. For a small nations, you know, this is a big thing. And the third thing is we are building a proactive state services. And together with this, we have connected our e-business register directly with .ee domain registrations. So this offers a possibility for companies to go on with the whole identity right from the very beginning. So innovation and technology go hand in hand, and I'm sure in this part of the world we are world examples to the rest of us. But I would like to underline also the justice issues, what I began with. We have a good example in Estonia that is called Own versus Apple. Own means Apple in Estonian language. The case shows that the fairness is extremely important for those who don't have so much money as has the Apple company, which is one of the most valuable trademarks in the world. Own, in the translation, Apple is a quite widespread family name in Estonia. And there was a guy who registered a domain apple.ee because his family name was Own, which is translated to Apple. So he had all the legal grounds to do so. The Apple Corporation, of course, didn't think in the same way and started with all the money to claim the domain. But the fairness won. So the person whose family name is Own and who has all the legal grounds got to keep this domain. This shows, and I think it's very, very important, how the fairness issues are extremely important of building the domain systems. And sincerely, even I feel that having a domain, pakosta.ee, is a part of my identity, although the family name is actually a Czech one. My forefather came here in the 17th century. So, but I guess this will not be an issue when somebody registers pakosta.cz, which is the Czech domain. So, these were my introductory words. I hope you will have very, very good discussions. I'm very, very happy that you also include education topics, which is very, very important because Estonia, as you might know, has included AI to the school system from 1st of September. We are one of the few countries in the world who are not prohibiting mobile phones or computers from the schools. And we also consider very important to stand against the European initiative to make an age limit for visiting social media. So we truly trust our young people and schools, and we think that having the domain issues also covered is very, very important. So I hope very, very successful meetings for you, and that you find this Õpetajate Maja as well in the evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Minister. So now I think all Estonians who happen to share the last name with some famous company will go and start legal proceedings to make trouble or maybe to get their own name back. Anyway, now we are going to take the temperature of the domain industry in the 3 Baltic states. Let's check if the patient is alive or not. And we will start with Estonia, and Heiki, the floor is yours.
Welcome to the Baltic Domain Days. It's the 5th one, and I'm very happy that we create to do so far. And hopefully we have to learn today something, everybody. And I start with Estonia. And last time I report you that we are almost all digital except marriage and divorce things must be do physically, let's say. And it's mean that now in 2020 already and 2024 we create the e-marriage system and e-divorce systems. It means that you have possibility to submit the application via e-popular registry, and you have possibility to do this action also. But it's allowed to meet people in nature, in conferences, and to make the contacts, eye contact, and everything. This is allowed in Estonia also. And some new things for Estonians as that we create a data tracker. It means that you have possibility to follow what people and officials and state agency are look your personal information and why they are doing so. And it's one step about transparency, what even minister told us. And of course, we know that we didn't use laptops almost anymore, many of us at least. And we know the Ukraine example where everything is in the mobile phone. And yes, we have also now in the state app what called eesti.ee. And it's very beginning, but you have driver licenses, you have passport, ID cards. This data tracker is in this app, and it's hopefully becoming more convenient to be connection with your state. But this journey never ends, I must say, and we have also possibility to find some services what is not digital yet. For example, one very great thing is to cut the Christmas tree. You go to the forest, you look in mobile app where is the location, then you say that I want to cut this tree, and then you pay in this forest, and you take this Christmas tree and go home. And especially families with the children use this very, very, very much in Estonia. And very many small things. And I personally like very much this e-notary. It spends so much your time that you have to go to some office somewhere in center of Tallinn where is not parking spaces and so on. And it means that we must all the times create the better solution for our society. But this digital society is the team sport in sense that cooperation with the different offices and services is some basic of success, let's say. And we know that crime, for example, is coming in the streets to the internet, of course. And when we discuss long times in Europe and even in globally that registries CC registries especially don't deal with content in internet, then it's not possible anymore to look somewhere else. And we, Estonian Internet Foundation, adopt the principles of the management of contents, and it's for the society that they know what kind of criminality or fraud we are dealing. It's about the content, ESOPs, terrorists, hate speech, whatever, and of course the technical things, abuse and difficult nature, and the most important, that who deal with whom. And you have the possibility to contact the right officer, right person, and we do our part and role. Now, one thing what Minister even mentioned, we are very proud that we agreed with e-business registry that where you create your company, you have possibility to buy domain name also, .ee. And it's convenient for the user, and it's avoid the situation when you register your company, and of course you may do it in online, and after that next day somebody is offering your domain name for you, but of course not in the 6 or 10 euros, but it's 100 or more. And we agreed with business registry the short-term reservation of domain names. It's free of charge. It's up to 10 domains, and it's reserved 7 days for you. And it's your time to register it somewhere you desired domain name. And we create a long-term reservation that it means that you almost buy these domain names, and it's cost you 10 euros per year. And it's basically for the bigger company and global company who want to came to the Estonian market, and they have a lot of things what to do before that, and it's possibility for them. We have created the co-marketing program in this year, and it's the first time, and it's nothing new in our world, domain world, but still our aim is that to support the registrars and quality of .ee zone, and we have to survey when we learn, try to understand better why renewal is, why people don't renew this domain name, or why they are doing so. And that's why these conditions are that we support especially renewal and long-term registration, and when the domain is related some other services like email or hosting or something, and we know that these domain names are mostly renewed after that. And it's the 50,000 euros per year. It's a small amount, but in the Estonian market is something, of course. And let's see, we try to, in the next year, this program is continued at least. And we have some things new also what to report, that for example we lowered the domain dispute fees. It means for the individual and the non-profit organization, and before that this was 690 euros per this dispute, and we get a lot of asking that why is so high. And it's the aim is that the .e zone will be the most honest, let's say, zone, and that's why today it's the 390 euros per individuals and non-profits organization, and it's very good to announce that something in our society is going lower also, not higher, but everything else. We remind our price, 1 year registration price in the €6. Very soon it's 10 years already. We protecting small registrars in our national transmission on the NIS2, and we are very proud that in 1st of October our government has decided something that we are successful in this negotiation, and that's things what we discuss later maybe. For us is ISO certificate to get it in this year, and we are before that it's the Estonian one ISKE, and it's the German one in origin, but now the NIS2 need to be the other ones, and it's the ISO what we get. We have the very long journey to the cloud, and of course we are very proud that our ED service reached the profit in this year, and we waited a long time, and now it's done. And in the very end, I introduce our statistics panel or report here also, and put to the our countries to the post-COVID times for your look, and congratulations Lithuania that you are doing so well. I don't know what is the reason, and Thomas are possibility to tell is I hope it's not material poles and tobacco business, but something else. And of course EU is very important for our market, and that's why I put EU also here. And in Estonia, you see there is the decline in the last year, and there is the 3 reasons, not only 1 reason. And it's first reason is economic situation. It's decline in economic, as we know, and it's in the long period. And then many Chinese customers are leaving in our zone. It's the second reason, and the third one is that in the beginning of year we start automated control of the business registry, and it's influence also a little bit for that decline. But we have already up, and August and September are much better now. And finally, I am very proud that in this year we have, with our Baltic neighbors, very fruitful talks about cybersecurity, and it's always help when we compare and share the knowledge, and stronger we are together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heikki. I'm Katrina from .lv, and I'll tell you more about Latvia and Latvia's top-level domain, .lv. As the distinguished minister already started by sharing her story from another industry, from tourism, I will also tell you that when we talk about Latvia in the context of tourism, we usually say Latvia is the land that sings. I wish it was Latvia is the land that registers domain names, but we're going there. We're getting there, so I hope that one day that definitely will be true. It is to some extent already. And well, here you can see a similar picture that Heikki already showed, because we, in our countries, that's what we love doing, we sing. And as one of the most popular folk songs from Latvia say, I was born singing, I was growing up singing, I was working singing, and I was registering domain names singing. That's what our customers do. And at this point, we have a little bit more than 140,000 domain names, and that's less than our neighbors, even the smaller country of Estonia. But we still love our customers because our customers are the best. They register new domain names and they keep renewing them. Of course, some are deleted. There's nothing we can do about that. And of course, we can see that those registrations, they always show some seasonal trends. This summer, for example, was pretty cold. I don't know, but I know that in some countries in Europe, it was really, really hot. Here, it was horrible. We were freezing. And what you do when you freeze? Well, you register domain names. So the most productive month was July. So it was plus more than 37% compared to June last year. The lowest activity was in June. I don't know, maybe people were expecting hot summer, so they were getting ready, you know, their bikini and everything, but nope, didn't happen. So they started registering domain names. As I said, we are happy that people keep renewing domain names, and that is very important when we think about the way how we can grow constant, very stable customer base. DNSSEC, again, I know that in Estonia they have seen growing numbers. Our numbers grow, but not as quickly as we probably would have loved to see. Some of the new services and improvements that we offer in our CCTLD is that last year we introduced WIPO dispute resolution service, and we already seen some cases tried there using this alternative dispute resolution process. Together with Center.lv, we've introduced DNS firewall, and that is becoming more and more popular as people use it to protect themselves, not only from malicious domains, not only from some websites that had been infected or hacked or whatever, but also be protected from some scammers, from phone numbers. If you use this application on your mobile phone, it will block scammers from even reaching you. For our direct customers, we've introduced automatic payment system, which helps people to set up their the payments using their credit card, so they don't have to remember renewing their domain names every year. It can be done automatically, which is also very helpful to see your renewals going up. And yeah, one of our very, how to call it, a long-term project. We're developing a new back-end system for our registrations, for our customer care, and everything related to that. Oh, that's okay. I'm not even going there. I'm not going there. Key achievement. Again, I think that almost all TLDs can say that yes, we're up. We're up and running, and we ensure that everybody who uses our services can get a reliable availability of the zone. This is something that our industry has always been proud of, because somebody said, I think it was Peter who said that he had a conversation, Peter from Center, who said he had a conversation with some Euro bureaucrat, if I may use the word, who said, no, CCTLDs, never heard of them. And he said, that's because they work. If they didn't work, you would hear about that immediately, and you would know what the CCTLD is. And that always happens if something is not working. We survey our customers regularly, and we see that they are happy with our service. We're happy to report that they are happy. Well, they also satisfied with the process, and here we're talking about our direct customers, because unlike .e, for example, we also serve some customers directly. Oh, we talk about coming years. We would like to concentrate on effectiveness and efficiency, or E&D. Let's call it E&D, not EE, but E and E. And that is, first, to increase effectiveness and provide a better customer service. Then, increase productivity, to give the tools to our team to make their work more efficient, and to make some daily tasks easier to perform. And for both effectiveness and efficiency, we need this improved domain name management system. As I said, that's a long-term project, and we're slowly, steadily getting there, and happy to report about it in the next Baltic Domain Names event. So who are the people who register domain names with us? Those are, well, legal entities, mainly legal entities, but also quite a few individuals. So we're going to talk about that more tomorrow, so I'm not going concentrate on percentage here at the moment. But as Heikki already mentioned, it's important to see that the domain names that people register are being used. And here we also can see that people do use .lv domain names for websites, for emails, and also for other services. Here you can see another interesting graph. Another thing that helps you with renewals. The longer a domain name is being used, the longer it's in use, the higher is the probability of it being renewed. And that's why we are trying to concentrate on the group of these domain names. They are already our customers. And when we talk about direct customers, we decided that last year, actually, it's already well, a bit more than a year, every month we look at those customers whose domain names have been in use for more than 5 years. They have a website, they have an email address, but they haven't renewed it. They haven't made a payment. So we call them. Probably in the time when you get calls from scammers almost daily, it's not a good idea. However, I must say that, to my great surprise actually, people do respond and they are happy, and many of them are happy to say that, oh, thank you very much, somehow we missed the payment and we're happy to renew the domain name because we need that domain name. Yes, we saw that, that's why we called you. And for those of you who, maybe registrars, maybe offering other zones, for example, Gs, we can see that from center stats, we see that new GTLDs are getting popular. If a couple of years ago we didn't see, well, we saw only few registrations in Gs, especially new GTLDs. Here, now we see that, yes, they're getting momentum. Especially, there are two new GTLDs that are very popular, and those are surprisingly top and click. I don't know why, but these are getting very popular among Latvians, because Latvia is the land that registers domain names, at least top and click. So thank you very much. Those are my 10 minutes. I think they have run out, and I'm happy to give the clicker to Thomas so that he can find out. Yes, thank you.
Hello. It's nice to be here. I think the first conference of Baltic Domain Days was in Tallinn, maybe 7, no? Oh, first in the year, second one. Sorry. But I remember it was maybe 7 years ago or something like that, and it was in the same area in different buildings. So I remember it was very nice conference also. So I'm happy that we're keeping going with it. So let's talk about .lt domain. For those who are not familiar with us, so it's we're still organizational unit part of the University of Kaunas University of Technology. We are 16 in our team, and our financing, so we're living from the income for the provided services. So we are like separate department in university, which has this like somehow, how to say, independency, and not only in finance area, but in technology, in infrastructure, and so on. We have separated our networking, connectivity. We have a separate agreement with RIPE for IP addresses, and so on and so on. So we, even as we are part of university, we are quite separate by that means. And services we provide are all about DNS. So the main service is it's operating country code top-level domain name .lt. So the second service, we already have clients. It's like registrar business, let's say, but it's not only like registrar. We are supporting also academic research network, LitNet in Lithuania, they DNS services. So most of academic institutions in Lithuania using recursive DNS servers, which are provided, operated by us. Also, we administer DNS servers for the university. And one of the projects, we are together with National Cybersecurity Center in Lithuania. So it's like a national DNS firewall. So we are operating DNS servers and then recursive DNS servers, and National Cybersecurity Center is providing block lists for malicious content, and also all block lists from the national institutions which are responsible for protecting some areas, like Lithuanian Bank for finance area protection, the other authorities protection for copyright and other areas. So they are providing these lists to these name servers, the DNS servers, and we are operating the infrastructure. So we already have 3 quarters of 2025. So in digits, what does it mean? We have growth from the 1st of January. We have plus 3.4% of growth of registered .lt domain names. Renewal rate is more or less the same. I have no exact numbers, but it could be different by 0 point something. But it's for 3 maybe years in a row, it's about 86%. But it's the whole renewal rate. We have different renewal rate when we looked yearly by domain name age. So our registrars asked about us to find this information to prepare. So we looked at domain names which are just registered, and during first renewal, it's less. It's 67%, I think, renewal rate for the domain names that just were registered 1 year before. So, and the bigger age of domain name, the greater renewal rate is. So we have about 86% local registrants, natural and legal persons, a little bit more legal persons, but it's not a very big difference. We have four less accredited registrars during this year. So, and I think this tendency could be for a few next years because of requirements for cybersecurity, so which are for registrars. For smaller registrars, it's not very easy to comply. I hear that Heikki said that in Estonia you have protection some kind for the smaller maybe registrars. In Lithuanian law, after transposition, I think there is no difference. It doesn't say about size. Also, this year we have growth of the NSEC-enabled domain names. Of course, it's relatively still quite small. It's less than 2% of all domain names, but it's growing, so it's a good sign. So, and we hope that our registrars, biggest registrars, will step into this and to provide the NSEC services to their customers. And I want to say this time thank you to our biggest NSEC-enabled registrar. So it's Estonian, it's Zone Media. Guys, thank you. You are leading the way. For IDN domain names, it shows some growth, but usually it's the same. So it's about 1% of domain names IDN. So it sometimes a little bit grows, sometimes it reduces. So it's almost similar all the time. What's new in the registry? So last week, our rector of university confirmed the new procedure and rules for non-judicial mediation services. So we have colleague Laura, our lawyer, who is now accredited mediator in Lithuania. So she will be providing non-judicial mediation service free of charge for some situations when people want to negotiate maybe some conflict potential. So just before going to the court. But it's very fresh. It's not officially still in a press release or in our website, but it will come soon as a news. And we already announced to our registrars about our plans to increase domain name price starting of 2026. So because of inflation, of cost of the services we provide, and new regulations which come with transposing NIS 2 to our local legislation. So we checked how price increase could affect what part of our .lt domain name registrants it will affect. So we looked at the portfolios of domain names, and currently we have about 130,000 unique registrants who having 247,000 registered .lt domain names. So, and majority of them have only one domain name registered. So it's about 96,000 of domain names and registrants, and they are they are 73, almost 74% of the whole registrants. So, and as you can see, then 24% of registrants have from 2 to 10 domain names, from 11 to 30, 1.2%, and to look more than 100 domain names have 0.03% of our registrants. So it's 42 registrants. So they are most likely maybe domainers. Cybersecurity, as I mentioned, NIS 2 regulation was transposed to national law, and there are requirements for top-level domain registries. there are requirements for DNS service providers, and there are requirements for registrars. TLD registries and DNS service providers are special cybersecurity entities. Registrars are important cybersecurity entities, but in Lithuania, you need to comply with regulation if you are included in the list of National Cybersecurity Center's list of cybersecurity entities. So, and this list is not public. So, actually, we don't know how many our registrars are included in this list. So, but so. By the law, all of them mostly should be included, because if you are DNS service provider, if you're providing authoritative DNS or recursive DNS services except root DNS services, you are a special subject for cybersecurity. And if you think that maybe it will not affect you, these new rules, I would say that it will affect many of registrars also, just because the clients who are cybersecurity entities, they will require their suppliers to be compliant with cybersecurity law. So if your domain name is registered by, I don't know, some governmental institution or some, I don't know, water supply company or so they most likely they will require you to provide your ability to protect domain name, to comply with cybersecurity requirements. And of course, we as part of university also, we see that we need to teach and law enforcement and government and small medium enterprises and students. And Heikki asked why .lt domain name growth is quite stable and good. So it's hard to say. I think there may be two things that I could mention. Maybe one is just it's together with Lithuanian economy. I think one part is. Second is that I think I want to say thanks again to our registrars who are offering, at least for Lithuanian community, to choose maybe .lt domain name at the first order, and only then to use other GTLDs or other domain names. And maybe some teaching, all information spread it to small, medium enterprises during different events, to students and so on. Maybe it helps somehow, so at least I hope. And what we are learning, so we think that the continuous learning of cybersecurity is essential for us as important cybersecurity entity. So, and we are going with it. Thank you. Aitach, paldies, ačiū.
So, please, gentlemen. Thomas, you too.
Okay.
Also. Yeah. Okay. Good. So, and now some 20 minutes. Heads of the registries are with you, and I think it's best to give the floor to the audience that have you any questions, because you now listening 3 updates for registry. Have you any question? If you have not, please.
I am curious about, no, thank you, I can do without the microphone.
But we have online visitors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why
Great,
it's
great.
needed.
If you
Yes,
can hold
thank
it
you.
for me, thanks a lot. So, I am curious about the same statistics provided about the Lithuanian market of the quantity of people who holds, people or companies who registers more than one domain. I would like to know the same, if available, about Estonia and Latvia.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, the data is available, but I must admit I don't know it by heart. We will find out, and I'll get back to you. We of course, we have people who register more than one domain name, and the average was, I think, something 1.5 or 8, 6, 1.6. I'm sorry, we need microphone for online audience.
The reason for the question is that I think they are the heavy users. So it's interesting to know how many of the Baltic users are really heavy internet investors, users, business users.
But my answer is very same, and I tried to check my web page, what information we have in statistic here, but still, we have statistics corner right after this panel also. And Mare, you have time to look at Estonian numbers. Yeah,
if I may, there's another interesting aspect to look at, and that is the number of domain names registered per 100,000 people. And here I must say that we do more or less the same. I think Lithuanians are more active in that respect. They register, I think it was 11 or 12 or maybe even more domain names per...
I think looking for population, maybe Estonians are most active.
You think
because
so?
they have 170,000 domain names. And
No, I mean domain names, not just in our CCs, I mean domain names in all zones. I'm not talking about local CCTL. I mean, how many domain names people register. And that's not just for the local CCTLD. It's in general. For years I've been very envious of Germans because I thought that they were the most active registrants. But no, actually, they are not the most active, at least in Europe. People in the Netherlands are. They register like 38 domain names per, now I don't remember, was it 100 or 1,000 or 100,000 people. They are really active, and that can also be explained by economical situation in the country. They are more active in commercial space, and that makes them to realize the value of domain names. And I don't know how to convince people that they need more than one domain name, and I really applaud your question, because that is very important.
Yeah, but I saw in Estonian Internet Foundation webpage that 75% own the one domain, yes, and some 15% is two, and the other more heavy users are less and less. It means that it's publicly in webpage. Please visit. Yeah, but we have one more question. Yeah, please. Sorry.
This is Mario from INWX. You showed us your numbers for DNSSEC usage, and it's quite low for most of you, I think. I think it's a general problem for most TLDs, but I know some Scandinavian TLDs do something to attract registrars to do something. Are you doing something already, or do you plan to do something in the future?
Thank you again. Yes, we do. We offered a promotional prize for those registrars who sign their domain names under their management with DNSSEC. And for some, it was an incentive, but I must say not for all. Apparently, the investment and hassle with all this DNSSEC probably is not worth it. I don't know. Again, consumers at the moment, they do not ask for it. I think the moment they understand it's the value of DNSSEC, they might ask their registrars to provide the service.
We also have discounts for registrars for the first registration of domain names if we have already enabled the NSSEC from the beginning. Not sure about, maybe it's about 10% discount from the regular price. So, but because it's not very easy to track or to count how long this NSSEC is turned on and off. So that's why we're just checking at the beginning, at the moment of registration, if the NSSEC DS records are provided during registration or not. If it's provided, then we count that it's enabled, and we are counting the discount for all the registrars. So no, any special agreements or something else needed. So, but
in the beginning, we tried to raise the awareness about the NSSEC, but now I must repeat Thomas' words that thank you soon to doing that, and it's help. Yeah, but I take one question over here and then.
Helmut.
We have a lot of opportunities in coffee breaks and in reception. Yeah, please, Lars.
Yeah, so this is a continuation of the last question. My name is LG Forsberg. I work for a company called IQ. There has been, like Mario mentioned, not only the financial incentives that .se and other Scandinavian countries and .nl and so on and so forth has done. There's now also a quite big push for registries to automate the ingestion of the NSSEC data into their registries with CDNS key and so on and so forth. Is this something that the Baltic CCTLDs is looking into, to automatically pick up on the NSSEC being enabled by the registrar and not only through like EPP adding of keys?
Yes, we were thinking about it, but at the moment we see a little confrontation between the two different channels from where the authority of the NSSEC records could be updated. So because currently the registrar is the authority who provides information for the domain name. In this case, it would be the DNS service provider. So, and if it's different, it could become like, I don't know, different information, one from the DNS provider, one from registrar, and collision could become. So still we think that at the moment to keep the authority to the registrar to provide this information. So
I'm just happy that it's on your radar and you're thinking about it. That's the most important part in this. Thank you.
We're looking for that. Yes, please.
Mari, if you give a microphone to our CTO, he might provide them right in front of you. Yeah.
Yes, so short comments. We haven't had a lot of time to look into that yet. We have NIS2 going on, but we know about this opportunity, and I agree that we need to probably next year look into this, not this year. Yeah.
There's a really cool guy called Peter that works at the ESEC that does a lot of cool research into it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but let's go.
Helmut has a question.
Yeah, please.
Good afternoon. And Helmut, host Maria, it is wonderful to be in Baltic Domain Days. Probably my favorite domain name industry event, really. A question about drop catchers who shamelessly start catching domain names and putting up HTML, CSS websites based on the previous content. And the question is, it would be interesting to hear what are your approaches of each 3 countries, how do you approach it, and to police or not to police it, as now they are getting more cynical, more open, and of course they bring in quite a lot of money to their registries, but still, criminal activities. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thomas.
In this case, we think that we are not going into the content of domain name usage. So we have, I think, quite many institutions in Lithuania who are protecting or looking for some part of the law that they supervise, and that the websites or all the content provided on internet would comply with this law. So from our perspective, yes, we have drop catchers. We see maybe as a problem more for drop catchers that they are competing between each other, and they are quite producing a heavy load to our systems. So during the times when we are starting to catch some interesting domain names, we are getting about maybe 12,000 domain name check requests per second in domain availability service. So sometimes we are starting to think that Estonian approach to go with auctions would be quite a good option maybe. So, but currently, yes, if you want to catch some domain name, you need to find the registrar who are specializing in drop catching. So we have few of them, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 of them. So, and just make order, ask them for domain name. But I think for the criminal abuses, I don't think that these drop catchers are getting these domain names just for malicious content, because they are more for getting them for profiting, for reselling them to other users, because these domain names are quite nice or popular or have some traffic, old traffic left from the search engines and so on.
Thank you. Katrina?
Yes, thank you. I do agree that drop catchers are a problem for our registry, but not for the content reasons per se, but because they cause us additional workload. Because those people who have lost their domain names, who haven't renewed them, and all of a sudden they discover that the domain name that they did not need now hosts a website that probably resembles their own, they're not happy. So they call us, and we have to spend time to respond to them, to explain the situation and tell them about some legal ways how they can handle the situation. The problem is what we see, I don't know, 2 or 3 or maybe 4 registrars who offer the service to drop catchers. For us, it's pretty obvious, as Thomas said, that you have the load. Okay, probably we don't see, again, we don't see, don't look at the load, but we see those registrars that are being used to re-register or drop catch those domain names. And so that would be our question to those registrars. So why do you allow that? So you obviously profit for that. How can we handle the problem? So you are enablers in this case. You enable this situation to happen. Yeah, a lot. I wouldn't say that not necessarily criminal acts, but they do make money from the content that they copy. Yes, if it's a copyright violation, of course, it is a criminal activity. Sometimes they do use it for malicious purposes, but that, again, that is easier to handle because, well, you can block it, you can try to verify the data. And again, one more thing that we see with those registrars that enable drop catchers to get those domain names is that they are not very keen on verifying data. So when we ask them, are you sure that this person is who he claims he is or she is? They say, yeah, we checked, everything's fine. Or sometimes, oh, yeah, we checked, yeah, so we corrected the data. But they correct the data to the same absolute garbage, sorry. And again, we have to either ask them again, and actually at some point we stopped asking those registrars, we just do verification ourselves. So we ask registrants to verify themselves directly. because those registrars who, yeah, and majority of their customers are probably very nice and very good people, but there are some bad apples in the basket.
Yeah, in Estonian case, most of you know that the auction system helped. Now we have twice so much drop catchers than before. And we get some revenue, what we are glad to offer to the youngsters and schools and teachers to some different projects in cybersecurity field or whatever. And this cooperation with e-business registry also will help that it help because it's when you register your company, immediately some guys know your names and something. Sure. It's not legal even, but they know. And we hope that step also help. But now I try to moderate panel such way that to ask where you have with NIS2 implementation in your national ground. And as Thomas says that you have already law, then you ask Katrina,
yes.
what the Latvian situation?
We also have, the requirements have been implemented and all the regulations of cabinet, okay, maybe not all, but at least the ones that apply to us directly, they are in place. And just last week we submitted our own evaluation document to our national authority. We submitted a very long document. We filled it out and provided all screenshots, all the documents, 200 pages in total. So we have submitted, and we believe that we have done our best. Of course, there are still things that we see need to be done. Mm-hmm. Again, probably we will follow your steps in some areas, but in general, yes, I think we are in a very good shape. Mm-hmm. Not sure about registrars. I'm not sure they are very well aware of all the things that they need to do. But I think in general we are getting there, and the oversight is good, support is good, and we also are ready to help our registrars to meet all the requirements.
Yes, Thomas.
In Lithuania, so it's. The counter started at the 17th of April this year when National Cybersecurity Center informed all the cybersecurity subjects who are entities who are included in the list of cybersecurity entities. So, and there is a transition period of 2 years. During 1 year, all organizational requirements should be implemented, and during the second year, till the 2027, April 17, technical requirements also have to be implemented for all entities that are included in this list.
But why is this list is not open?
I'm not sure. Maybe
these entities say no, that they are in list.
Maybe it's sensitive information for, let's say, enemies to know all the critical bodies, companies, and infrastructures, which could be, I don't know, targets in case of I don't know, attack or something. So it's so this was regulated by National Cybersecurity Center. So it's.
Yeah. In Estonian case, we have draft law is government sending to the parliament. They hope that the end of the year it will be the law, but you never know because we have local election, and before the local election, almost all parliamentarians are running in local election, and it means that there are a lot of to do, everything. But we have government behaves in this way that they adopt the government regulation where they put the obligation for the micro and small businesses, and these obligations are much less than in a NIS2, and that's why I am very proud that we write this suggestion in the beginning of the year to the government, to the ministry, and they follow it. Now in Estonian regulation is that when you have less than 50 employees or 10 million euros revenue in the year, then you must fulfill the minimum standards in cybersecurity. And it's helped a lot of small registrars, for example, because my following question, I want to ask that how it affects our markets and so on, but our time is over, by the way. And now you all have possibility to ask all the questions in the coffee breaks and in the evening reception and so on and so forth. And thank you very much, Katrina and Thomas. And thank you for the questions.
All right, thank you. So this was a brief overview of the Baltic domain industry. And now I will invite on stage Mare, who I have lost somewhere. Oh, yeah, behind the speaker. And she will take a more deeper dive into the numbers and trends and statistics of what's going on in the market.
Thank you. I'm really pleased to see that many people here. I hope that you enjoy the event. I'm Mare. I'm the head of marketing and communications at the Estonian Internet Foundation. That means I'm the marketing girlie of the industry. Despite that, I believe that marketing has to rely on numbers and trends and what people are doing and how they're behaving. I also wanted to point out that actually we have posters about the registry statistics on the balcony. So when we have the coffee break, feel free to review them and see what are the exact numbers of each of the markets. So first of all, I would like to do an introduction of the global domain market, get a deep insight of the European market and then of the Baltic domain markets. So I wanted to point out that most of the statistics is from Center, so greetings to my Center colleagues. And I have reviewed many studies and researchers. And first of all, I would like to point out that the domain industry is actually growing again. As you can see from the statistics and slides, the growth is there. We have recovered COVID pandemic shift that we had back in 2021 and 2022. But as you can see, the growth is quite fragmented. So the biggest growth goes to the Asia-Pacific region, but the GDLDs as well. And as you may know, we are going to have the new round of GDLDs next year. So we can expect that the picture will be changing based on that. But overall, .com is the biggest player in the global market, as we all know. But European CCDLDs take about 20% of the market, so they're quite strong on the European region. Taking a look at the European domain market, there are more than 70 million domains registered. The growth is there, but it's quite slow and not as big as we would like to see. But on the other hand, we can see that the market is matured, meaning that the growth does not come from the new registrations, but more of the renewals and retention rates. So the demand balance is a little more than one, meaning that there are about the same number of new domains registered that are deleted. So that's good news for us. And we can see that on the European market, actually the local identity is a really big motivation and really big part of the new registrations. But on the other hand, main step or the main thing we have to focus is the active usage of domains, as already Katrina mentioned. In order to have the higher renewal rates or retention rates, we need the domain owners to use the domains themselves. And this means that there have been quite some changes in the industry. As I already mentioned, the main focus of domain registries and registrars is more of the quality of the domains, not that much on the new registrations. But we are still looking at both numbers. The trust of the domains is also an important part of why people choose the domain. So local domains have higher trust, people are more familiar with the domains, and there is less abuse also. But on the other hand, we have quite many external pressures. As we already heard, NIC2 is the biggest one. But in addition to that, also the age of AI and digital transformation that has an impact on the registrations. And because of that, I believe, and I hope many of you also believe, that registries and registrars have to collaborate more than ever. Because as registries, we often have quite good overview of the markets. We have all the statistics that is a really good input or information to the registrars. And that also goes to the NIC2, for example, the implementation, how we can implement it in a way that is good for the registrars and end users themselves. What comes to the retention rates, there is a study that looked into the process in more detail. And based on that, the activation of the domain is the most important part of the retention overall. And as you can see, about 30 to 40% higher is the percentage of retention of the domains that are active, that have a website or email related to the domain. Also, we can see that most of the domains are owned by businesses. This means that most of the registrations come from companies or SMEs in the Baltic states, to be more specific. But on the other hand, we can see that there's still room for private people don't have that much money or to do the initial investment. So renting has become more and more normal, and I think that it's affecting the domain industry as well in some ways. One of the big changes we also have is that people start off as entrepreneurs by doing micro businesses or side hustles or side jobs, meaning that they are more the price sensitivity is higher than ever before. And therefore people want to have ready-to-go solutions. It's easy to build up your Instagram profile, for example, reach your audiences and do actually the client communication on this platform also. So we have to keep that in mind, that people don't want to hassle or pay money for everything. And the messaging also has already shifted from the messages of security and trust to your digital name. So the focus has become more on the name itself and protecting it. So I heard that all the presentation have to end with a good meme. So there's the meme for you. And I thank you for your time. So, since I'm the last presenter of this session, we'll be having a coffee break, and please be back on 15:30.
So, dear audience, we are starting in 1 or 2 minutes, so please sit down or come up if you're downstairs. 1 or 2 minutes, something like that. So, welcome back from the break. We are starting with a panel discussion, and we are asking, should we innovate or should we die, or how to ensure growth in the domain business, in the domain market. So I have panelists here, 3 of you. Come on stage, pick a chair. Hello, welcome to Tallinn.
Hello.
No Estonians in this panel. But starting from my left hand, we have Niks from Latvia. You are from Sigmanet. What is Sigmanet? What do you do?
Sigmanet is mainly a hosting company, but we also do a lot of domain registrations. We were the first company in Latvia to do hosting, and at this point we both act as mainly act as a hosting company and a registrar.
Okay, then we have Claudius from Hostinger from Lithuania.
Yes, so very similarly, primarily we used to be more of a hosting company back in a day, but with growth and everything, I think we name ourselves more of online presence providers, including hosting, domains, mails, VPS, now like web app, apps, Horizon and stuff like that. So yeah, quite broad range of products that we offer to our clients.
And the last in our line is LG from IQ Global from Sweden. What is IQ Global?
IQ is a software as a service company that builds services that makes the everyday life of registries and registrars of domain names easier. So we help them monitor the domain names that they provide for malicious behavior, DNS abuse, phishing, malware, spam, such. And we also provide several other services that makes it easier to be a top-level domain name or a domain name registrar.
Then you're doing this globally or for the Nordic market, Swedish?
So IQ is a global company serving about 260 million domain names, so about 2/3 of the internet today. And I have a background working for the Swedish top-level domain name .se, as well as I'm the founder and curator of Nordic Domain Days, a sister conference that runs yearly in Sweden.
Okay, and how is it popular?
Yeah,
we will discuss the question of are domains living or dying domain names? How is it in Sweden?
So Nordic Domain Days is thriving. We gather about 400 people per event now. And I think that the Swedish top-level domain name while a little bit bigger than the Baltic siblings, I would say is facing the similar challenges in terms of growth.
Yeah, we saw the graph. I think Heikki, you showed the graph that were going down, right? Indicating that we have problems. And you know, when preparing for this, I think during our meeting, as you were not there, someone said that, you know, basically no one under the age of 30 or 40 even thinks of registering a domain name. So this is maybe viewed as a thing of the past to have your own, you know, EELV or SE. Maybe start with Unix. Is there a crisis? Is there a problem? Are people not registering domain names? Is it the thing of the past for young people?
I mean, to an extent. I think that like mainly most people right now don't at all use any type of websites. Like most of us are down to like, especially young people are down to like 4 apps more or less. And everything that happens, so what used to be the internet now is essentially those large platforms like Facebook or Google, everything. And essentially we get a curated internet. And so for young people, it makes, what we used to think as websites, I think young people now just think of like their Instagram profile or their Facebook profile. When it comes to marketing and in every way of like establishing your online presence as well, I think that it does make way more sense to like present yourself within those social networks. So in that sense, I think so that like it does seem way less important and relevant to register a domain than ever because there's alternatives that are way more used. But I don't think that like that makes too much sense, especially now with like the rise of scams on every level. I think more and more people are super suspicious of all types of like pages that look very real, of shops or whatever. So in that sense, it feels to me at least that it would be smart to kind of come back to domains because right now a .com domain is something that I think is not as trustworthy as it used to be because anybody can have a scam domain on those. Whereas in like the local domains like .lv, .de, .lt and smaller country domains, I think at this point, at least in my mind, is almost more trustworthy because there is a bit more control and oversight on scams and all those things within those domains. So in that sense, a .lv domain at this point to me is more trustworthy than a .com domain, which wasn't the case just 10 years ago, I think.
So other guys, I mean, I understand the new domains, whatever those are, .online or the long ones, you know? I mean, this seems exciting. .com I understand. You know, I will start an international business. Of course, I will do a .com. The smaller ones, the national ones, yeah, I mean, as a user, it gets complicated to me. What do you think?
I do agree, and that it's complicated if you look at the global perspective. However, still most companies that are started, they start locally, or they have at least some kind of a sense of belonging. So I would say that most companies starts local. They start in their own country. They have a reason to have their local CCTLD registered. And while a .com might seem old and boring to some of the younger crowd, I do think that it's a little bit like the trademark registration of the past to have if you want to start a business, having the name be available to you in your local CCTLD and on the .com is good hygiene. Not always a must, but it's a good hygiene.
So Claudius, you see a problem?
I don't see too many problems. I mean, I would like maybe to switch a little bit more to practical side of a business because we as a global Rava registrar, we are quite small here in Estonia and Latvia. Maybe we are a bit bigger in Lithuania, but we act globally. So we gather a lot of data, and of course, when we get to a scale like we are at like 7.5 million domains now, we need to become creative how to grow. And it really correlates to the existing problems that you just talked about, the social media and stuff like that, where natural websites become less important. So actually in these social media platforms which provide like free subdomains or link trees and whatnot, you know, we see potential for growth, you know, And here, you know, we have to, when both registries and registrars become creative, how to engage with those users and then teach them about the value of the domain, because the domain itself is very unique, you know, and with very simple tools you can, you know, just forward the domain to the same social media page, but you will have a presence on the zone already, you know, protected. So I think there is, in all the situations, there is a lot of potential, you know, but I think it's all about finding the ways together, both from registrars and registries perspective, how to reach those clients, you know. And as for generic TLDs, you know, there is a new round coming up, so I think some of the names will find their niche like we did now, you know, some of them will not, you know, but I think it's just good for the industry, good for finding out new creative domain names and stuff like that, so I think it's only a positive. And for growth, there is plenty of ways to grow, you know, but yeah, we just need to work on that together, you know.
I want to hitch on to something that Nick said with social media and domain names. I do believe that we are seeing a kind of the start of a mental shift when it comes to your personality online and how you represent yourself online, if that is important to you for your livelihood. And more of the younger generations are becoming more critical against why social media works for the company that offers them. So, but like if Facebook or Meta or Google would not have the revenue of selling the data that they collect from their users, they wouldn't exist. And like the younger generations are slowly but surely understanding that in this scenario, they are not a user, they're the product. And I think that is what's going to redirect some of the infrastructure needed to have a business online back towards websites. And I think one of the vehicles for this is that with the increasing prevalence of AI, using AI instead of Google, using different types of large language models, the information that users get from GPT-5 or from Claude Sonnet 4.5, it's like the model doesn't contain that information. It has been trained on a certain set of information, but it always needs to reach out to gather information to answer the questions being provided or the questions being asked. For the information to be available, it needs to be out there. And the best possible way for it to be out there is websites, because locked down behind logins on Facebook or social media doesn't work. So websites are going to be the primary source of information for AI to answer questions in the future. And I think that's, you see the cybersecurity industry right now is like companies are scrambling to pay people to block AI from scraping their sites. Yeah. While in 1 year, I would say that people will be paying to make sure that their information is readily available to AI. Because if you're not, then you won't be presented in answers from AI to users. So I think that the hamster wheel is spinning here. We're in for a ride.
Guys, you want to jump in? Nick?
Yeah, on that, like I think, not an AI part per se, but like on the social media part where like I think that one of the things that also people are realizing, everyone's realizing this, is how little control people actually have over their profiles. Because like at this point, if someone, like let's say someone hates you personally, you did something to them personally, they can, like, with enough effort, within a few days, they can make sure that your social media presence is now locked off, right? So it's banned for whatever malicious things that might be, like, you might be reported on. And at that point, you realize that, like, to regain that presence, if you're a small creator, this is what a lot of small creators are talking about now. If you're a small creator, you might get banned, and your appeal might not be looked at for 3 months. So within those 3 months, you lose all of your audience, you lose all of your media presence, and after it's reinstated, and they go, oh, sorry, this was like a malicious report on you, at that point, like within this modern, fast-paced world, it's gonna go away completely. So I think that's another thing that's like a massive selling point, is having your own website doesn't mean that you control what's there and what's not there. And currently, especially with the political climate that we have, or like even big media companies and their leaders do align with one or the other political force, essentially that means that pretty much always there's a significant part of people who, let's say, even not necessarily politically, but who are just involved in any way with politics, are in a very precarious situation where like a change of leadership and Facebook owner's new friend might decide that all of this is now not good, which if you have your own website, if you have your own domain, in that sense that you can always be sure that you can definitely post on there whatever you want, as long as it's legal, everything, nobody's gonna touch your website or your content at all.
I agree, but how many people out of 100, when you go on the street, how many actually understand that? How many know that? I think this is probably not widely known. And when you said that we can perceive that the small, country domains, .es and .lvs are more secure because there is more scrutiny, maybe, I think this will be news for almost everyone, right? Except for maybe people in this audience. So I think there is a big knowledge gap there. Do you agree? Or should we do campaigns, or what, should someone do something?
Yeah, I think there will always be a knowledge gap because, maybe for my grandmother, she doesn't need a domain name, but for any younger individual, one way or another, we will understand about it. And, but, I think there is as you mentioned, campaigns. Yeah, of course, I think some of the registries go to universities, to schools, and teach them how to build a website, so it's all good. But I think, registrars, as well, they do a lot into, they put marketing activities, influencer marketing and stuff like that, So basically all marketing channels are covered by one or the other ad, and that's, and because this is Baltic domain days and we talk about domains, so I think that's a huge potential for collaborations between registries. So, and I was happy to see that .ee especially started co-marketing agreements, because if you will not invest into pushing that knowledge out, you will not get any growth, you will remain at the baseline, expecting people to come, but it will not happen, And I think you have to be proactive, get out there, in various channels and educate students and children or whatever about it, and invest into that and expect the payback in longer time, not an immediate payback, so in a few years, So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that the role of the CCTLDs in the world are often, especially like the upstanding ones, the ones that work with their local certs, the ones that are really, that act in good faith in the community. They represent somewhat the internet's resiliency of the country. They are prevalent in company names, they are prevalent in all around in society. So they do get a fair amount of marketing and campaigning for free. I think when it comes to staying there and not dying, so innovating or dying, is making sure that they stay this bastion of security and resiliency by working in the internet community to adopt good policies and good usage of the domain names, making sure that they are not overly abused and used for malicious behavior, and making sure that their top-level domain name is seen as a good way of communicating in your country.
I just checked the other day, the Pirate Bay is still up. And that, to me, sort of speaks about the original idea of the internet, that it's very decentralized and you can find ways to keep services up, even domain names up. I think there is this is a testimony to the strength of the internet, that it's still running, it's still there. So in that sense, I agree. To the audience, we have a QR here. You can ask questions through Mentimeter, And also the microphone is still going around, so raise hands and let's participate. Is it too, like, can there be innovation? Can the process of registering a domain for not a specialist, for a regular person, maybe a person starting a small company or a person just wanting to have their own name domain, can it be made easier? Is it still like too Linux?
Well, I think that quite a bit of innovation has gone into simplifying the process of registering a domain name. When I started working at a registrar the first time, you had to fax the registration, and then later on you sent a standard formatted email that was then read by a Perl script back in Sweden. So it's definitely gotten easier since then. And I think that there's a lot more to do, and I think it comes down to seeing the new legislation that comes online from the European Union and from the nations in Europe. I think that solutions such as the one that .ee has had for a long time with their EID and having easier ways of making sure that you know that who you're talking to is one of the key components of making registering domain names easier. If you can securely identify who is buying the domain name, you can more or less give it to them without taking payment first, and you can have it online in seconds, and then figure out all of the bureaucracy. There's also the potential of enabling the registration of domain names using chat-like components like AI that is doing so many other things today. So there's definitely innovations to be had. However, I don't think that the backbone of that comes from the registry, but everything else comes from the registrars and the providers making domain names available to internet users.
Claudius, next, yeah.
Yeah, on that, I don't think that it's not hard to register a domain at this point, really.
No, it's really not.
Because that's the thing, though, right? And like essentially, like realistically, most people will go to a registrar and they'll just tell them, "I need this domain. Here's my data. Let's do a contract. Let's get a domain." And it's simpler than making an account on a social media, almost, or like as hard as that. I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's the issue of like technical knowledge. Maybe there could be some better communication on how simple it really is, because I assume there's a certain amount of people who don't understand that it really is just register and you have a domain within a day it works. Some people might assume that you have to go through some things, maybe like, I don't know, like people don't know how domains work, they don't know how they're registered, so it would make sense that, I don't think it's that hard, but I also think that there's not immediate use for them, so I think what honestly could be marketed better even from like the domain, like registry side, is how easy it is to have an online presence once the domain's there, like how easy it is to make, like if you need a website without any login credentials and just information about my company, even that, you can register a domain, get a few pictures, get a text, get design, and you can have all of that within a day or like 1 weekend of effort, then your company has a nice, very professional looking, basically a visit card. And I think it's how easy it is, also like how easy it is to get emails with, like as a hosting company, we do see this where people are like, they ask for a domain, they're like, we'd like emails with this domain, how hard is this? And then when we have them emails ready within a day, I think a certain amount of people are surprised that it's that quick, that it's just like, oh, you just make the emails and they work. And you're like, yeah, that's how it works. And I also know that, like, I know we've had clients who came over from like bigger email providers like Gmail, and there it is a lot more struggle, because then you have to be the one between the domain and the hosting provider, and then you have to do things that are a bit technical. And I think, I think it's just as hosting companies, also like registrars, we could inform, I don't know how exactly, but to give that information out of how easy it really is to have a nice online presence that doesn't take that much effort, doesn't take any coding skills at this point as well. And as long as you don't need logins or payments, the security doesn't matter. It's just information in the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, and getting back, let's say, to the easiness of registration, you know, for sure, as everyone mentioned, it's not that difficult, and I think it's getting more and more difficult to register because NIS2 is coming up, and just because I see not only Baltic states registries, and I see .de there, .me, so I want to just say, from a point of view of global registrar, I see that every registry treats certain rules differently, you know. And sometimes what I lack is in terms of registrations and everything like a global or standards, like maybe ICANN has for GTLDs, you know, which is like 90 something odd % standardized, maybe even more. And you know, each registry in the Europe or even in the world decides on certain nuances on EPP or whatever, you know, so it makes, let's say, registrar's life harder to make it easy for the customers to register a domain. So, and with all the verifications coming into place, I think there should be a bit more maybe discussions between center, ICANN, I don't know, how to standardize the process a little bit more and what is enough to verify, because, you know, one say that email might be enough to be verified for registrations. The others might want to verify phone numbers as well, which means that we have to support all the countries' phone numbers, you know, and then verify based on their rules. So yeah, it's a bit tricky question, but yeah, registrations are easier, but they might become a bit more difficult in the future, I think.
On that point, what I think is like as well, like we don't offer, like, not going to name the country specifically, but there are countries within Europe that we just don't offer their domains because it's just such a struggle to register. I know domains. I've worked in this industry for a while, and I recently spent 2 days just getting 2 days to register a single country domain, and I was like, why is this so hard? And like it was an incredibly like bureaucratic process. We did like
it was very secure.
I mean, I don't even think that, to be honest. That's the thing, though. It was just confusing what information they need, what information fits. Is this good enough, like as a company registration number? They're like, well, what about an address within our country? I'm like, but you didn't say you need that. Okay. And then we ended up, like, the client's obviously annoyed because we keep asking for more information. Because that's the thing, though, like, it's often even not clear what will I need to register a domain. And once you start getting there, by the way, we need this too. And you're like...
And funny story, if it's not in Europe, I think we had in South America where the registry validates postcodes, you know, of registrants, and, you know, and validation doesn't go through because the registry himself, they did not update the new addresses in their system, you know, because they built more buildings, so there's more postcodes and stuff like that. So we get to work with that from time to time, you know. So it's.
Let's see. We have a very knowledgeable audience here. Please raise hands who have their have a domain with their own, like your own name, like your own last name or something. Wow. Okay, now raise your hands who has a domain connected to like a hobby or something that's not the company you work for. I think that's more than, if we go out on the street, raise hands who have
those are the only people raising.
Name. Yeah, it's like, we have to lock these people here and then go out the street. Then I think like from 100 I would say we get 0 hands. I don't know. I don't know what's your experience.
No, but I think this is proof that like these people are connected, sure, but like that's proof that like if you want to, it's easy, and if you know about it, then you'll do it. It's just a lack of knowledge in some sense.
Can I humor myself a little bit?
Yeah.
How many in the room has more than 25 domain names?
Damn.
Yeah,
there you go.
Even I have a few like parked. Because, you know, you wake up in the morning and, oh, I just had this wonderful idea, you know, it's a good domain. Oh, it's free. You know, I'll just register it. Yep. And then I'm paying like whatever the little money is, and I don't know what to do with them. But, you know, at the same time, they are so good. I will not let them go.
But see the wonderful people that you are financing in doing this.
Yes, exactly. Yes. You know, and since I'm getting paid for this job, I will get some of my money back from
circular economy.
From these people. But anyway, innovation of services. So, I mean, the old logic goes, I wake up, I think, oh, I should have a domain with my name. Then I will go to, I saw my friend from Zone.ee, I will go to his company, I will register the domain, super easy, no problem, done it many times. And then I'm faced with, now what? Should I run email here? Should I run a web page here? You know, it's not that difficult to set them up, but it's more difficult, for sure. And then comes the most difficult part, is like, but this is not 1994. Like, should I have a homepage saying, like, hi, I'm Henrik, you know, this is my email? But no, of course no, right? I don't want to have a simple, like, with a gray background and little animated GIFs with people building, or, you know, remember the ones. Like, no, I don't want to have that, right? So what the question for me as a customer becomes, what should I put there? Why do I have it if I don't want to give up my Gmail because it's connected to everything I do? Like, I would have to go and change 500 logins, which I'm clearly not going to do, right? So now I have this fancy domain, and I have zero ideas what to do with it. I mean, is this normal? Do you see it with other people?
Yeah, so I think we call it internally attachment of a domain name, because I was happy to see that registries on stage started showing more data on retention, but of course it's all like blended, and there is a lot of layers on retention actually, and the most important is always first year retention, which I believe registries should focus on. And what we see is that within even the first month, if a domain gets attached, you know, it has like 3 times more likely scenario to be renewed, and that's why, you know, just after domain registration, we of course suggest customers to buy one or another service, but also we provide a lot of free solutions to the customers, including domain forwarding. They can forward subdomains to multiple social media pages, and even now we give a mailbox free of charge for a year, and it's super one-click setup basically. And also we invest even giving an opportunity to create a random one-pager template, like a link in bio kind of thing. And so I think that's where, you know, registrars and hosting companies have to do some work and investment into teaching how easy it is to build a website, because nowadays we can even build a web app with 2 sentences basically, and in a minute, you know, so it's that easy. So I think, yeah, giving a taste, an easy taste to the clients, not necessarily committing to buying it, is a good way to just show the value that certain things could bring, and how professional it looks like from their potential customers' perspective, you know. And always just say a simple example: if you buy your own domain name, like own surname domain name, you just forward it to social media or LinkedIn page, and that's it. And it's a great example of usage and attachment, you know.
Or maybe our AI will vibe code you, you know, your first web page too.
We do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely think that retention in the first year and attachment is really, really important. And I think I think another part of it is what you talked about, connecting your domain name to different things, to email, making it work. There are a lot of services out there today that support having your own domain name or a subdomain name.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to make sure that it's easy for users to connect their domain name to more and more things, because if they connect it to one thing, like social media and email, they're pretty attached. But if they also connect it to their blog that is hosted on WordPress.com, if they connect it to a bunch of other services out there that support having custom domains, then it's the renewal rate of that domain name shoots through the roof. There's a quite nifty technical project that I know that one of my good friends from DNIC works a lot on, which is called Domain Connect. Which is like a technical solution to making it easier for customers to connect their domain names to different things. So if anyone in the audience or is interested in that, DNIC, Pavel at DNIC is the one to talk to. But I think getting domain names connected to services is how we get them to stay around and keep their domain names and keep them active.
I've started sort of thinking about the domain name lately as, you know, when we got these food delivery services. In Estonia, we have Bolt and Wolt. I don't know, you have in Sweden probably something else, whatever.
Uber and Bolt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Uber Eats also. So they gave birth to something called, you know, restaurantless kitchens, or blind kitchens, I think they are called.
Yeah.
So I would also almost like to have like a blind domain name to my name. So the thinking goes, everything I do, everything I own is in Gmail. And the other bit is in Facebook with WhatsApp and so. And I think you said, they can just wake up one day and close it. And I have no one to talk to. I have no one to complain to. And this like sometimes keeps me up at night. It's like, Jesus, everything is in Gmail. And if that goes, I'm dead. Like, I don't exist, right? And then I'm thinking, but maybe if I have my own .ee, then if something happens, I can go to Heikki and say, I will present my passport to him and say, I'm me. Give me back. Or the Estonian government cannot almost ever take your citizenship away from you. Like, I would have to do something unimaginably terrible. Even criminals keep their citizenship. So in that way, I could always, always, always be sure that I can keep my online presence at least somehow. And then I would maybe like to have a service there that just downloads and backs up all that thing there. And if I ever have a problem, next Monday at 9, I can go to Heikki's office and say, I'm me. I want to have my email. At least I have the archive. And to just like provide the security to that. Or I don't know, if maybe that's been solved somehow that I don't know. Or could we start thinking about domain names not as presence on the internet, but more like a guarantee or a backstop?
Well, to an extent, like I think that's something that I mean, lately, at least I've been trying, like talking to my friends. I don't know if we've put this in our marketing just yet, but it is literally that. It's the fact that, like, I think as well, like we've had clients, you said this before, where like I wouldn't switch off from my Gmail. There's like a million logins with it, all that. The people who do end up switching from Gmail, where they do end up switching everything, is once they get locked out from their account and they spend 3 months locked out of their everything. All of their, like some people, all of their work documents are on Google Drive. So once you lose that login, like some people use it to log in into other places. So at some point you lose so much.
Yes.
And once you have that experience, that's when you start thinking about, okay, this is not okay. And this is where like even hosting companies, right? As long as there's like some sort of an office or some sort of customer service that's like actual people at the other end, you can always regain that access. And that's something that like I think we could push for as well. Yeah, exactly. Is that it's in more senses than one. It's controlled by you directly rather than it's and as well like as you mentioned before about like since we are the product, the company will never treat you like a customer because you're not. Mm-hmm. They don't care about you as a customer. If you're going to take your business elsewhere, cool. Good luck with that. That's their attitude. They don't care at all. And yeah, I think that's something that would be nice to get that wider out. And I think, unfortunately, right now, the only people who do this are people who've had a bad experience. But it's, I don't know, I guess it's similar as with computer backups. Is the usually first time somebody buys an external SSD and backs it up is once their computer burns down. Yeah. They lose all of their pictures.
It's like one step too late.
Yeah, yes. And that's, and like there's definitely a way that I don't see right now, but in a way that people could wake up to this. And I think that just like over the last few years, the amount of bannings and unbannings that have happened in all the major social media platforms, everyone's realizing the problem, but maybe we could do better in showing that there is a solution. Because I think a lot of people just think, but what else am I going to do? Not use Gmail? No.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. They don't see that there potentially could be alternatives, and that's something that I think from the sense of security and your own peace of mind is something that would be very, very helpful to convince people of and slowly maybe move them over. As well as and within companies as well, something that like our clients enjoy quite a lot is just your basic backup. For your web page and your emails, somebody deleted something, somebody messed something up, blah, blah, blah. And like just the fact that you can just send us an email and we'll get your information back from backups is something that people really appreciate and something that will never happen in Gmail or Facebook or any of those. And yeah.
Yeah, just maybe one note that it's very unlikely that Google would go down, I think
that's true.
All of the other companies, us included, would have a higher slight chance of going down than Google itself, so I wouldn't be so skeptical about Gmail, but as you said, of course, customers need to be educated that, we can have the backups. We can set up now all the sorts like N8N automations in their VPS servers, and do exactly that, collect the data, forward it to another way, connect even AI and then just filter it out, and there is a lot of solutions, so.
I can only agree, but I think I wouldn't be afraid of Google going down, ever. However, the one thing that I would be afraid of is, like, I don't use Gmail ever, not personally or otherwise, and the one reason for this is because in the non-paying terms and conditions for Gmail in their data retention policy, they are allowed to lose a certain number of emails per month, which today equates to something in the realm of 4 billion emails per month without having any consequences.
Do we know, do they actually lose them?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I don't believe that they lose the full quota, but like data retention in Gmail is not absolute. Like you can wake up one morning and have no emails in your inbox and there will be nothing you can do about it.
Wow.
You don't even need to lose access to your Gmail account.
I think about these things, but just to try and picture that, that's horrifying.
These guys, they offer excellent services.
Exactly.
No, I do think that there's whenever I talk about Gmail to my friends, like non-internet professionals, like the one thing that makes most people stick around with Gmail is not Google or how easy it is to set up or anything. It's the fact that there's no actual competitor to the functionality in Gmail. Specifically the website, the webmail, and the app. It does sorting. It does the plus thing where you can automatically sort emails into folders based on what they write between your name and the @ sign. There's functions there that that's not readily available in other free webmail solutions. So they win a lot on functionality. So I think that someone should build a really cool Gmail competitor.
Have you checked our mail, new webmail? Just released a few weeks ago.
Oh,
so.
I can give it a run, but no, readily available, free, and that people know about. So like there's no open source alternatives. There's very little good webmail alternatives to Gmail.
Do you think AI will change that picture? Someone already told that AI needs to be able to scrape things about me if someone asks, or my company or my project, right? It needs access, which it necessarily doesn't have if it's behind LinkedIn or Instagram login walls. But I almost can imagine that I should maybe have like a blind website for AI. It's like that's me, that's my project. If you're AI, go read this white text on white background, which it is able to do, right?
There's even files that you can add to your website that instructs AI on how to use your website.
So do you think AI and the fact that people every day treat LLMs as like a search engine, do you think this will change this domain game somehow?
I think that the relevance of websites will continue to be there, not forever, but it will continue to be there. And in Sweden, there's a big report that is released once per year called "The Swedes and the Internet," where they do interviews with something in the realm of 30 to 50,000 people. I don't remember the exact number. It's done by the foundation that also does .se. And in this year's version, which is available in English online as well, they revealed that in the younger generations, there's now like, was it 6 in 10 that actually use ChatGPT and chat-like alternatives as AI instead of Google, because they get more results, better results, they get the crap filtered out, they get no ads. It's just better for them.
Yeah. So questions from the audience. Maybe we should approach domains as an exclusive niche product in 10 years. No, 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 no.
It's an infrastructure tool.
Yeah.
Who asked that? Okay, no?
Probably not, because I think it will remain for a while, online, and we do see the trends are changing, as LG said, towards more like chat-based experience in comparison to what we have seen in Google times, and even Google itself, I know that a lot of content creators like affiliate pages and whatnot are quite not happy about how Google now even started giving you summaries, You don't even need to browse through the pages and look for information itself. So I think this game is changing, but domains will be there, and they will, for those LLMs, still you're gonna need content, and yeah, so I think it's not yet.
Next question, handshake domains, your thoughts, good or bad? Will they die eventually or become something competing with current domains?
Yeah, that's a question, which we try to answer, and we get pitched a lot about these, and the fact that we don't offer it yet, I think tells how we prioritize it at the moment, so we don't. And I think what will be interesting to see is after the new round will be released, of course, there will be names which previously were on the handshake side, and if the owners will not be the same of the handshake and those TLD mentioned released by new ICANN round, it will be interesting, how we will connect Web3 to Web2, because there will be name collisions and whatnot. So I think I'm quite reserved on this topic until the new round comes in and those actually crypto TLDs will become reality on DNS zone. But now the usability of those is quite niche, and for us just seems like it's a bit too much effort to invest into a rather niche product, so. But after new round, we will see what will happen.
Yeah, I think that handshake domains is an interesting technology. There are inherent properties of these, we can call them domain names, but they're really not, that does not exist for domain names in DNS. There's things they can do that would be probably a bad idea to make domain names do. And also, like, as Claudius said, more or less any registry, registrar, and domain industry company are being pitched by companies that offer these technologies. And what we're seeing is that the ones that actually stay around and continue and have some kind of success, they're all connected. They've all chosen to connect to domain names and Web2 and the more the existing internet. So what I think we will see is that the DNS will remain, domain names will continue to work, and handshake domain names or the technology behind handshake domains will be used to enhance our experience of the internet. Crypto wallets, different ways of transferring currency, different ways of handling things that domain names would normally not be used for.
Nix, you have thoughts? No?
I mean, quite a lot of agree. Yeah, exactly. It can work, but in parallel as an extra thing. But that's as far as I think I'll go. I very much agree. Yeah.
So should email security protocols be implemented by operator for free and transparently to the customer?
I mean, we kind of do that by default. Yeah, like at some point there was a moment where we were like, oh, there's this extra thing and at some point we realized, what are we doing? Let's just implement all of these immediately to all of our clients. So I think that's something that just has to happen, especially when your competitors are Google. Like it just has to happen, where like every security thing that is not like increasing your fixed costs has to be immediately implemented. And I don't see any other way around it. Like it just has to either include it in the price if it's extra fixed costs, but it cannot be here's an email and like some security. You want some extra security? Here's some. I don't think that that would go very well for the reputation of any company that provides emails.
And I was actually surprised to get that question because I didn't know that someone charges for it. You know?
I saw on Facebook today someone had an offer or a question from his mobile operator, Telia in Estonia, that, you know, the letter said basically, we know there have been loads of these scam calls lately. Would you like us to block them, and how much would you willing to be, pay for that? And I think this person canceled the contract in like 5 minutes. So I think the customer views this as the job of the service provider anyway, like it should be included in the price.
If you would have asked people 10 years ago how many people would be willing to pay 10 or 15 or 20 extra krona or 1 or 2 or 3 euros per month to only be able to receive calls from people in their phone book, they would have made so much money.
So, I think a few questions here. How can registries and registrars promote or educate open source solutions for an open web? Being logged into a proprietary web service like Wix or Shopify is just as bad as Facebook.
Well, when you go and you create, you register a domain, in whatever end you start with the domain name or you start with creating your web shop, you pick your own providers. So your freedom to pick the provider that you want to use should be advocated for and the story should be told. But if you pick Wix, then you can't be mad about being stuck with Wix.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to, of course, to do the research and pick wisely. But I think even that thing might be moving a little bit towards this flexibility side, because there is a lot of these web app building products like one of ours, Horizons, but also Lovable and whatnot. So we kind of give you the code and you can later on try and store it somewhere, wherever you know, on VPS or something. So I think, so one is wise choice, research, and and in the future I think it will become more and more flexible.
I think simply because there's so much competition in that field, like the idea that like it's just a proprietary lockdown system is just not an option anymore. Because like people, I mean, at some point we'll start recognizing that I'd like to have my code once I'm done with you as a company, and if that, but it also feels like that's just happening, right? Like there's like a lot of companies are realizing that that's something they have to offer to be competitive in the market. So I think, thankfully, that's something that moving towards that anyways. How could we push it? Maybe we should, but we don't. Not just yet.
But it's a good question if it actually is a job for a company like yours. It's customer choice, essentially.
It is something that is becoming possible. Like in the past, these website builders have created a website that is only available to you if you stick with your current hosting provider. That is changing with how the service is provided by competitors, but it's also changing with how easy or hard it is to build an actually good-looking website. Yeah. When you can, as long as you have a modicum of understanding of what it is that you want, and you can describe it in a one-page document. You can have it done for you for free, and then just upload it to any hosting company, and then when you want to move from them, you can download your site and move it.
All right. We in this room, we know about the issues about how domain name and services could solve them, but how can we get this info out? We are all trying, but there is still a huge knowledge gap. We kind of talked about that, but I don't think we have any solutions here on stage.
I think a lot more people know about a lot more people today know about how a website not works technically, but works theoretically. And I think that continuing to building on that knowledge, providing, for CCTLDs, make sure that you provide content in your language. I think most of the CCTLDs in here do. Provide content that tells your internet users how things work in layman's terms, and try to get it out there in as good a way as possible with different types of different channels. But I think it's a good role of information flow that CCTLDs are aptly a good instigator of.
Does anyone have a question they would like to ask into a microphone instead of Mentimeter? If not, then there's one more question here. Is naming of new technologies and products like AI agents, servers, handles in Web3, wallets, is this a domain name usage that should be popularized?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
So you mean like having a in the new round having an application for .agent or what?
Or maybe if I create an agent in ChatGPT, then I can give that agent a domain name, and it lives there. I don't know.
There is. So I read an RS, which is agent name services, that is supposed to address and stand for some type of quality of agents, which is, I haven't read any technical documents on it, so I don't know how it works more than the marketing spiel.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's necessary.
Yeah, and I think, it's still early days, and we see that new protocols are emerging, and of course GoDaddy's idea is one of those, but something will come up probably because, the AI world is changing every few months, and I think some sort of protocol, but not necessarily connected with domains, will appear, And theoretically, yeah, domains could become like part of this deeper infrastructure, through certain records, but currently I don't look at it that way.
I could have like hendrixagent.ee or hendrixwallet.ee or something like that. Yeah.
Maybe,
I don't know.
It's too early to provide a good idea,
Okay.
Or maybe hendrik.wallet.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe just hendrik.ee and everything is /whatever, like /wallet, /agent, and so on. Okay, now we are too far into the future, but luckily our time is up. We cannot fantasize anymore here on stage. Thanks, guys, for discussing, and have a good conference.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
All right, and now the discussion will actually bounce back to you here in the audience, and you have 15 minutes to find a friend or friends or escape, I don't know, and to have a discussion on how to ensure growth in this domain business or domain landscape. And after 15 minutes, we would maybe like to see some ideas being presented, or at least told to the others from this stage. So let's see what you can come up with in 15 minutes, and we'll take it from there. Find a friend. Turn left, turn right, or just spread out your arms, and wherever you can catch is your friend.